When I started my sophomore year of college, I was still using the same old laptop I had all through high school. It was slow, the screen had a crack in the corner, and the battery lasted maybe 40 minutes, but I couldn't bring myself to replace it. There was something comforting about it, like an old diary I never meant to keep. Every essay, every dumb game, every download, it all lived on that laptop. One night in October, my roommate had gone home for the weekend, so I had the dorm to myself. I decided to finally clean up my hard drive, delete all the clutter. I was halfway through deleting a bunch of random folders when I saw one near the bottom of the documents list that I didn't recognize. It was called E. I assumed it was some leftover folder from a class project or a download, but when I opened it, I saw a list of subfolders inside, all named with random letters and numbers, E01, E02, E03, and so on, 12 in total. I clicked the first one. Inside were several JPEGs. They were grainy photos of what looked like a high school hallway. My high school hallway. I could tell from the blue lockers and the crooked Go Tigers poster that always hung near the science wing. The second folder had pictures of desks, different classrooms, same school, all taken from odd angles, like someone was crouching or hiding behind something. I recognized one of the desks as mine from senior year English. I froze. At first I thought maybe I'd downloaded this folder by accident, maybe from some shared drive or group project. But as I scrolled through, I saw more photos. Some of them showed empty classrooms, bathrooms, stairwells, even the gym. Others were taken outside the building, one of the front entrance at night, one of the parking lot after rain. And then I saw it. One photo showed my old bedroom window. From the outside, the timestamp said March 17th, 2023, 2:34 a.m. I hadn't lived in that house since July. My stomach dropped. I backed out of the folder, heart pounding, and checked the others. The deeper I went, the worse it got. The photos became more specific. A close-up of a doorknob I recognized from my dorm. The corner of a whiteboard from the library I studied in every week. A blurry photo of my car parked outside the dining hall. It wasn't random. Whoever took these pictures had been following me. The last folder, E12, was locked. It asked for a password. At that point, I slammed the laptop shut and just sat there in the silence of my room trying to breathe. I told myself it had to be some mistake. Maybe a prank, a virus, but deep down I knew that wasn't true. Those photos were too personal, too recent. When I finally opened the laptop again, I decided to check the properties of the folder to see when it was last modified. It said, updated 3 minutes ago. I hadn't even touched it. I turned off the Wi-Fi immediately, unplugged the Ethernet cable, and tried to run a scan. Nothing came up. The antivirus didn't even detect the folder. It was like it didn't exist. That night, I barely slept. Every noise outside my dorm made me flinch. Around 2 a.m., I got up to close my blinds, and for a split second, I thought I saw someone standing by the streetlight across the parking lot. Just a dark outline, perfectly still. When I woke up the next morning, the folder E was gone, completely vanished. I convinced myself I dreamed most of it. Maybe I was overtired. Maybe my brain was turning my paranoia into something else. But then, 3 days later, it came back. Same folder name, same contents. Except this time, there was a 13th subfolder, E13. I hesitated for a long time before opening it. Inside was a single text file. The title read, "Ready when you are.txt." I opened it. The file was empty except for one line at the very bottom, "I can see you." I slammed the laptop shut again. I felt nauseous. My hands were shaking. I wanted to throw the thing out the window. Instead, I unplugged it and shoved it under my bed. Later that day, I took it to the campus IT center. The guy behind the counter plugged it in, opened a few windows, and frowned. He said the folder didn't appear anywhere on the drive. "Are you sure it's not just a corrupted directory?" he asked. I didn't know what to say. He offered to do a full wipe, but I told him I'd think about it. That night, when I got back to my dorm, my roommate was still gone. I plugged the laptop in again, just to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy. The folder was back, but this time, it wasn't just photos. There were videos. The first one was only 12 seconds long. It showed my dorm room, my bed, my desk. The camera moved slowly, like someone was walking through, filming. At the 9-second mark, the camera turned toward my closet, and I saw myself sitting at my desk, typing. The video stopped. I sat there frozen, replaying it over and over. It was my room, my stuff, me. The timestamp was from last night, just before I'd gone to bed. The next video was longer, nearly 2 minutes. It was a recording of a hallway, a dorm hallway, my hallway. The camera was low to the ground, almost like someone was crawling or crouching. Every few seconds, the lens would tilt toward one of the doors, mine. There was a faint sound in the background, breathing. By the end of the clip, the camera stopped in front of my door, and the view tilted upward, showing my door number, then static. That's when I noticed something else. At the bottom of the screen, in faint white text, it said, "Recovered from device, E." That wasn't my laptop. Someone else was using it remotely, watching me. I yanked the power cord, closed the lid, and shoved it back under my bed again. I tried calling my roommate, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I couldn't bring myself to sleep that night. Every sound outside felt amplified. The hum of the vending machine, the creak of the floorboards, even the rustle of leaves outside the window. At around 3 a.m., I heard something new, a faint tap. Once, twice, it was coming from my window. When I pulled the curtain back, there was nothing there, just the empty parking lot and the faint orange glow of the lamps. But on the glass, in the condensation, someone had drawn a small letter E. By morning, I packed the laptop into my backpack and took it straight to the police. They brushed me off, said it was probably a prank. Maybe someone got into my dorm, maybe I'd left my window unlocked. I showed them the video, but when they opened the laptop, the folder was gone again. Nothing. They sent me back to campus with a warning to be careful online. I tried to move on, deleted everything, changed passwords, bought a new computer. For a while, things went back to normal, until last week. I came home for a funeral. My grandfather passed away, and my mom asked me to help clean out his old study. While going through boxes of books and papers, I found something wedged in the back of a drawer, a flash drive. It was red, shaped like a Swiss Army knife. My breath caught. It couldn't be. I plugged it into my new laptop, hesitating as I waited for it to load. One folder appeared. It was called E. Inside were all the same files, the photos, the videos, the text file. Except now, there was one more folder, E14. I clicked it open, and inside was a single image, a photo of my grandfather's study, the same angle I was standing in. And there, reflected in the dusty window behind me, was a tall figure with long black hair covering one eye. Even now, I don't know how that folder follows me. Every time I delete it, it comes back. Every time I try to ignore it, it updates itself with something new. Last night, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. It just said E15 is ready. No attachments, no explanation. I haven't opened my laptop since, but I can still hear the faint tapping on my window when I try to sleep. And this morning, when I checked the condensation on the glass, there was another letter, E. When I was 12, my best friend Riley and I thought we were paranormal investigators. We had a cheap camcorder from a yard sale, a voice recorder app on my mom's old phone, and more curiosity than sense. We spent every weekend at one of our houses watching ghost hunting shows, scribbling down methods in a notebook, and planning what we called sessions. It was harmless fun, until one night when we found something we weren't supposed to. That night, my parents had gone out to dinner, leaving us alone in the house. It was around 11:30 p.m., and the rain outside was tapping lightly against the windows. We were restless, wired from soda and candy, sitting cross-legged on the floor surrounded by flashlights and snacks. Riley was flipping through her notebook when she said, "Let's do it again, but this time, let's use the basement." I froze for a second. My basement had always given me the creeps. It was old, the kind of old where the air feels thicker somehow. My house had been built in the early 1900s, and my parents always joked that the basement still had ghosts from the construction crew. The space was divided into 3 rooms, the main storage area with boxes and tools, the laundry room with a single flickering bulb, and the last door, a small windowless room that no one used. My dad called it the coal room, though it hadn't seen coal in decades. I hesitated, but Riley was already on her feet, grabbing the camcorder and flashlight. "Come on, if there's anywhere in this house that's haunted, it's down there," she said. We crept down the stairs, each step groaning like it hadn't been used in years. The basement smelled like dust and metal. The flashlight flickered once, then steadied. I tried to laugh it off. Riley aimed the camera around like a professional. "All right," she said. "If there's anyone down here with us, give us a sign." Silence. Just the hum of the old freezer in the corner and the occasional drip from a leaky pipe. We asked a few more questions, stuff we'd seen on TV. "What's your name? How did you die? Do you want to talk to us?" Nothing. I was just about to say we should stop when something clanged from the laundry room. Riley jumped, swinging the flashlight toward the sound. The metal door of the dryer had popped open. I felt the air shift colder now, sharper. "Probably the vibration from the freezer," I muttered, but my voice didn't sound convinced. Riley grinned nervously. "It's a sign," she whispered. "Ask it something." My throat went dry. Are you trying to talk to us?" For a few seconds, we just stood there. Then came the faintest sound, like something dragging across concrete. It was coming from the far room, the one we never entered. The door was half open, showing nothing but pitch black inside. Riley started walking toward it. "Don't," I whispered, grabbing her arm. But she just smirked, pretending to be brave. "We'll just peek inside." The door creaked as she pushed it open. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing old shelves, a rusted furnace, and walls lined with cracked stone. It was freezing in there. Our breath fogged in front of us. "See? Nothing," she said, turning back toward me. But then, behind her, just for a second, I saw something. A shadow that didn't belong. It wasn't a trick of the light, I know that. It was tall, thin, and wrong. Its outline looked human, but twisted. When I blinked, it was gone. I told her we needed to go. Riley rolled her eyes, but I could see she was nervous too. We bolted upstairs, laughing the way you do when you're scared and pretending not to be. We watched the footage later, sitting on my bed, the rain still hitting the window. At first it was boring, just us walking around asking questions. But when Riley opened the coal room door, the audio distorted. It wasn't static, it was something else, a low, rhythmic breathing sound. And then, in the corner of the frame, the figure appeared again. Blurry, but unmistakable. Long arms, hollow face, eyes glowing faintly white, like reflection in an animal's eyes. Riley hit pause. That's gotta be a reflection, right?" she said. But it wasn't. You could see it move, independent of the light. At one point, it turned its head toward the camera. We didn't finish the video. We both just sat there, pale and silent. I deleted the file, or at least I thought I did. The next morning, when my dad went to do laundry, he asked why the basement light was still on. He said it had been flickering all night. We told him the power must have glitched. He laughed it off. That night, Riley texted me. "The video's still on my phone, I didn't delete it." I told her to erase it. She didn't respond. The next day at school, she didn't talk much. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept. After class, she said something strange. "It keeps showing up." I asked what she meant. She said that when she played the video again, the figure was closer each time, closer to the camera. She'd swear that every replay it moved a few inches forward. I told her it was impossible, just compression glitches, but she wouldn't listen. 2 nights later, she called me crying. "It was in my room," she whispered. "The thing from the basement. I saw it at the end of my bed." I thought she was joking at first, but her voice cracked real fear. I told her to stay calm and check her door. She said she already had. It was closed. Then the line went quiet, followed by a faint scraping sound, like nails on wood. Then the call dropped. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I biked to her house. Her parents said she'd been missing since dawn. Her bedroom window was open. Police searched for days. They found her phone on the sidewalk, screen shattered, video still open. I made the mistake of watching it. At first, it was just the same basement clip. But near the end, there was something new, a final few seconds I'd never seen before. The camera was shaking, pointed at the ground. You could hear Riley breathing hard, whispering, "I shouldn't have come down here." Then, slowly, a distorted voice echoed, "You're still here." The camera lifted just enough to show the coal room again, the darkness moving like it was alive. Something long and pale crawled into the light on all fours. Then the screen cut to black. The file corrupted right after that. Her family moved a few months later. The police ruled her disappearance as probable runaway, but no one really believed that. My family left that house soon after. Before we did, my dad had the basement sealed off completely, brick and concrete poured over the old coal room door. But sometimes in the dead of night, when the wind hits just right, I swear I still hear a faint dragging sound coming from under the floorboards. I don't go down there anymore. But last week, I found something that made my stomach drop. A padded envelope on my front step with no return address. Inside was a DVD. No label, no case, just a disc wrapped in tissue paper. When I played it on my laptop, there was no sound, only the faint flicker of an image. The camera was pointed at my house. From outside, the timestamp was from the night before. In the reflection of my front window, I could see something tall and wide-eyed standing just behind me, and then the screen went black.